it exist? Go ahead and show it. Yeah, we'll have to show it to folks so they'll think it doesn't exist. Department of Communicable Diseases, Surveillance Program, Global Influenza Program, World Health Organization. That's the United Nations seal right there. I assure you, that's the world government. I assure you they've announced it's world government, and I assure you it exists. Just like the Gulf of Mexico exists, just like I exist. Just like I get emails saying European Union doesn't exist. My God, you mentally ill people out there need to wake up, folks. World government's upon us. No more time to suck your stupid thumb. I got all this other news here. I'm going to call the White House in a moment, folks. We're going to call the White House in a moment. Let me go ahead and go through some of the other news they've got as they try to sell the public on accepting martial law. Mass vaccination drill puts health officials to practice, and they admit under the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, they tried to forcibly inoculate 14 million first responders, police, firemen, county workers, doctors, nurses, and most of them said no. 99%, according to the LA Times, said no, because every time they gave them a smallpox shot, people were getting sick or dying from it. So they only shot up 4,000 to 14 million. Do the math. But still, with your kids at schools, they do forced inoculation drills. They don't just do drills. You've seen all over the news where they say, it's the law, you got to take the vaccines. And the kids show up at the courthouse crying, and the parents say, well, I don't want to do it, but they threaten to arrest me. Never telling them there's a waiver, never telling them it's not a law, it's a health department recommendation. Alaska health officials in the Anchorage School District teamed up Wednesday to prepare for the worst-case scenario by practicing a mass dispensing of vaccines. And we were pointing out 2 weeks ago here on air, they were already having drills all over the country with FEMA and Homeland Security and schools for mass inoculation drills and influenza outbreak drills like I never saw before, and all these weird phone calls getting made everywhere, and government documents we've covered ad nauseum. Like, where's my mass grave folder? It's here somewhere. Where they're getting ready for mass graves just all of a sudden for influenza. Now, does that mean that they're even going to release bad influenza, one that'll kill tens of millions? Does that even mean that it's real? No, they can just, most of this is about fear-mongering with county and city officials. They come in and say, we're really at level 6, but don't tell the public. And get ready for mass graves and for half the public to die. Billions could die worldwide, And the local cops are like, I'll do whatever you say, feds, good God. It's really about brainwashing them. And we caught the feds staging little fake terror attacks over the last few years to get the locals to roll over. So there's all these psyops going on. And we pointed that out with the psyop they gave the state officials that we got Wednesday night. I said they could be lying to local state officials. It doesn't mean that it's really going to be this bad or happen like this. But we have to take it serious. So mass vaccination drill. Here's WorldNet Daily, excellent article. U.S. under UN law and health emergency. You can read that in Reuters if you want. Bush's SPP power grab set stage for military and to manage flu threats. This was August 28, 2007. Dr. Corsi, who's on, by the way, Monday with us. And it says in here, in the SPP documents, as we cover in Endgame, my film, that on page 3 that they had a plague involving a scenario of a plague in Mexico reaching across the border of Arizona and Mexico, a pandemic of influenza being the plague in 2006. And the SPP stated in the document that they would use this to help bring in the New World Order in the North American Union. And now that's in mainstream news, that globalism, and it brings the world together. In fact, did you guys Google that, where it was a bunch of headlines like, flu pandemic brings world together, good for globalism, good for global governments, good for UN. I mean, they're just admitting all of this. So you got that. Here's another great article just written by Jurian Masin. Yet another crisis, yet another call for world government, this time from RAND Corporation. That's an excellent article up on Infowars.com. And then this quack thermal imaging. You come out of the hot, parking garage, taking the tram. You come in hot and sweaty to the airport. They drag you aside for flu testing and quarantine you for a few days while they test you. Just all about training us that we're all criminals, we're all bad, giving the control freak government an excuse to be involved in our lives. Meanwhile, we're not noticing French news agency, 50 to 100 Guantanamo inmates can't be freed, says Gates. Obama agrees, saying they've got to be tried by secret military tribunals, agreeing with Cheney. See, nobody's hearing about that now. Yeah, the new level signifies that all countries should immediately activate their pandemic preparedness plans, World Health Organization director said. The world will need to pull together, she said. Yeah, but there's headlines I saw on Drudge and everywhere else. We even linked to them. I just can't keep somewhere in the stack. I'll come across it here in a moment, where they're going, this is good for global governance. This is good for world government. This is good for the world coming together. This is good for globalism. Okay, so we got that. I went through that stack. I got some other important stacks here, and I want to recap all of this. And they're doing quarantines everywhere and dragging people off airplanes and dragging people out of these systems. Again, all part of the fear-mongering, all part of the pageantry, all part of the theater. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and play the Fox News martial law piece. When we come back, I'm going to call the White House. I'm going to call the White House, give them a piece of my mind coming up in just a moment. But right now, let's play this little Fox News piece. Now, when I saw this, I knew. When I saw 4 years ago, Tommy Franks, all over the news, all over Cigar Aficionado, all over Newsweek, all over the media going, it's real sad, but one more attack, we're going to have to get rid of the Constitution and our freedoms and have a military form of government. I don't like it, as a soldier and as a patriot, but it's what people want for safety, and it will make them safe, and we got to give the people what they want. I'm real sad about martial law, but it's what's going to need to happen. Militaries throughout history hate setting up dictatorships. Only happens 99% of the time. But anyways, we really hate it. But and I said, that guy's on Pentagon payroll, part of the tens of billions in fake news that Congress admits is going on, and the General Accounting Office says is illegal. Sure enough, came out. Tommy Franks paid over $500,000. In fact, I haven't pulled that up in a while. Google General Tommy Franks paid I think it was $550,000. 550. Yeah, Google it right now. And you're going to see where I'm going with this in a minute. General Tommy Franks paid $550,000 to push Pentagon, to promote war. Tommy Franks paid $550,000 to promote war. And then you read the mainstream article. I don't remember where it was from. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. And it says in there, but I pegged it. I said, he's on payroll. I mean, who isn't with these guys, And then it came out that all these former generals were on payroll and we're being given briefings, and that weird tape with them with Rumsfeld going, without another 9/11, they're not going to go along with another war. God, 9/11 was great. Just wish we could have another one. Now, it sure worked out, didn't it? Yeah, they need another one. I mean, they're basically admitting what they did. It turned out they were on the payroll to go out and act. I'm objective, but we need martial law. I don't like it, but it's what we need. The children deserve it. Well, this Fox piece is, I'm really sorry that we may have to be forced to take shots at martial law. We need to have a debate, an orderly debate about it, but people are going to weigh this. And I saw other pieces on the news, just watching it in the coffee room and on TV, and when I was on the treadmill an hour a day, where they were just like, you got to weigh it. The world on one side, individuals' rights on the other. I think the world outweighs it. Doing these childlike. Did you find it? Tommy Franks. Tommy Franks paid. I don't see it. Somebody can find it and post it. What did you put in the search function? Let me see. Tommy Franks paid money to promote war. Just paid money by Pentagon to promote war. See if that pulls. I can't remember the exact headline. I remember the number. 545,000. I bet we posted it. Put a prisonplanet.com on the end of it. I'm going to get that up for folks. I don't want to just make that claim. How about White House paid for fake news? I mean, that's a nice headline. I'm sure that'll come up. Okay, let's see this comes up. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Just type in Pentagon paid for fake news. No. I mean, White House paid for fake news, yeah. And that'll come up. Okay, we're going to play this martial law clip, just one of many where they're promoting it and getting everybody acclimated. Is this a dry run? Is this a beta test? Obviously. I mean, we've been praying for that, but it's still a lesser of two evils. The fact is, we know what they're going to do when they really release it, or we try to rebel against the bankers totally bankrupting everything and bringing in tyranny in the name of the economic crisis. Anytime we look like we're going to start winning and getting our country back, bringing the bankers to justice, they'll stage something. Fake TV news, widespread and undisclosed. Yeah, that's Infowars.com, but click on it. It'll go to the New York Times, I believe. Click on the story itself for folks, and then that'll be a sublink. That's Center for Media and Democracy. Yeah, click on that. Let's show them the original link. And we post some of these key articles in their entirety for posterity to document them later because they tend to expunge them. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to come back and recap everything and call the White House after this. Let's go ahead and play the clip of Fox News and martial law. Here it is.
World Health Organization raised now the pandemic alert for swine flu. The World Health Organization raised now the pandemic alert for swine flu, implemented quarantines and world leaders issuing travel warnings. But of course, it could get worse.
That's right. If it becomes a pandemic, you could lose some simple rights like going to the movies. Fox News legal analyst Peter Johnson Jr. joins us live here as well. Peter, last night when the President of the United States was talking, it sounded like in his remarks, he was talking about the possibility that parents should get ready to come up with a contingency plan in case your child's school